Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us in week 2 of our podcast, Shouting from the Couch. I'm shocked we made it this far. Made it through a whole week. I don't know how many of you.
Sponsors haven't canceled.
Yeah, the sponsorships haven't canceled. The money's flowing in, nice and good. So
longer than Tony Romo.
Yeah, we did. This will probably be a shorter, I think.
Hopefully.
Okay. with that, we're gonna start it off.
Can you believe we're only 4 years older than Harambe? Life is so very
You
precious.
know what's going to happen, though? We're going to be a lot older than him. Sadly.
You know who would love to be on the Shouting from the Couch podcast, but can't be because of the Cincinnati Zoo?
It was an inside job, but I digress.
Nonetheless.
We're going to talk about some baseball, some hockey, a little bit of everything on the podcast today. But we're starting it off with Bryce Harper. Is he truly elite? Is he going to stay? Is he going to stay up to his
Super Bowl? He can't be elite.
22 home runs, 73 RBIs so far this season? What are we thinking? Is he going to dip down, or is he going to keep going right on track where he is right now?
Well, I mean, he took a step back, obviously, this year. Last year, finally put up like the insane numbers that we all expected him to. I personally predicted he was going to hit over 50 home runs this year. Definitely not going to happen.
Ice cold take.
Ice cold take in hindsight. The thing for me is that like he's such a head case. Like he kind of he plays hard, and I enjoy watching that,
folks.
But he's a head case, and like if you're asking me Trout or him today of who's going to have a better career, it's easily Trout, because one, he's just a great fielder,
Better defensively,
more consistent. He's been doing it for longer. He just has more tools. So I think obviously Bryce, and once he signs with the Yankees in 2 years and hits 60 a year at Yankee Stadium and wins a couple rings, maybe he'll be elite. But
I can't wait for the Sports Illustrated cover with Gary Sanchez and Bryce Harper. I'm going to make sure to frame that.
don't forget Manny Machado.
And Manny Machado. I mean, stagnation's expected. I mean, you can't exactly. There are not many players that can just continue that upward trend, like 50 home runs. Most people might have expected that. I mean,
Because what's he hitting this year, like 260?
Yeah, low average.
22 home runs, 73.
Yeah,
so there's
still
expected to be stagnation. I mean, we can't exactly determine legend status. I still think he will be a star in this game for a very long time.
He's still 23.
Still 23. He's got plenty of time to develop. But as of right now, I mean, obviously it's kind of a small decline. I mean, obviously an easy chance to go back up.
I think also it adds to the fact that he's now not a part of that really young, like up and coming MLBers. Like you've got all these great players coming out on a lot of different teams. And you talk about some Yankees guys, Mookie Betts with the Red Sox, Xander Bogaerts. The Cubs keep cranking them out, but he's kind of reached that age where he's no longer like all this great prospect. Like if he dips now, he's gonna get overshadowed a little bit. But I mean he's still 22 home runs. He's coming off an MVP year. His career is gonna be okay.
One thing you got to look at, too, is one problem I have with is his attitude. He does not have on the field and off the field. He is allowed to be full of himself, but I think his temper kind of gets the best of him sometimes on the field. And you want to have a passion and a good player. And a good, yeah, exactly. Like the guys on your team, you love to have them. You're on the opposing team, you hate the fact that you have to go up against him because he's good and he's cocky. But I think some of the times that his temper can get the best of him, and I think that's could cost him not a ton, but just a little bit down the road. I would agree, Mike Trout, a five-tool athlete, five-tool center fielder.
I think that was a conversation, a debate. Even at the time, I didn't. But at this point, it's just ridiculous.
And you got to see when they get paid after they get their second, third contracts. Do they turn into Alex Rodriguez, where they dip off at age 40 down the line at the end of their career, or Albert Pujols? I mean, Albert Pujols got paid by Los Angeles and hasn't done hardly anything out there.
He had a good year last year.
He had a good year, but for the money,
10 years, though,
where he was, I mean, when you get older, you're always going to dip off, but it's interesting to see how well they play when they're young.
Nick Yale with more on the former Cardinal first baseman Albert Pujols.
No, I'm not bitter at all. We got Michael Watt out of that deal.
It's actually funny to me.
Yadier Molina got paid. Adam Wainwright. I could go on for days.
Say we, buddy.
We? The Missouri Tigers will win 6 games.
Kornhauser is a bit biased.
Missouri Tigers will win 6 games. Are you a walk-on this year with the Missouri Tigers?
I'll put up.
We? Yeah. 100%. I am a member of the St. Louis Cardinals.
All right.
Yeah, I have a position.
Would you consider yourself the best fan in baseball?
Oh, BFib, no.
Well,
absolutely not.
Best fans in baseball.
Best fans in baseball versus good Cardinal fans is a completely different thing.
all know-
BFibs are their own category.
We all know what are not the best fans in football. Those are Cowboys fans, and Tragically, not unsurprisingly, Tony Romo is down 6 to 10 weeks. I think is what the.
I guess they said now it's 4 to 6 without some surgery.
Okay.
But I mean,
nonetheless,
he's missing half.
That's what happens when you don't drink your milk. Osteoporosis.
It'll get you.
I feel like someday he's gonna be on one of those got milk commercials and we like, the mustache and everything. Like it'll just be like very savage, like passive aggressive. Like, don't end up like me. Yeah, like those smoking commercials where like someone like talks. And they'll be like they're like wheeling him out. This is what happens when you don't get your milk.
That'll get you an
That's another
absolute
one.
sense.
That's another one. It's like it ruins your skin. This girl starts peeling her skin off. Like these smoking commercials, I guess trying to sell a point. But what do you do for like the milk commercials? Got milk? Otherwise, and then show Romo getting hit.
Yeah.
Bone fracture, Kevin Wares,
over and over. But
Well, do you guys feel bad for him though? That
Yeah,
like
I feel bad for him. I don't feel
like
bad for Cowboys fans.
it's part of him being fragile. It's part just like wrong place, wrong time. Like I mean, anyone would have got injured on that play. He just got hit from behind and just like snapped.
I think it's another chapter in one of the better quarterbacks to never have won a Super Bowl, and unfortunately, I don't think he will. Which
He's what, 36 now?
he's
Like,
getting
he's
up
not-
there, and looking at his stats, like he will have a case for Canton, but I don't think he'll ever get in.
If
But-
he had stayed healthy, I think he could have.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel bad for him. Like it's kind of a what could have been type scenario, but I mean, it's a great chance to see Dak Prescott. See what if all this preseason work will translate over the regular season.
yeah. It's such an oxymoron too because you have I do agree.
Great
the greatest offensive line greatest offensive line in football for probably the last 3 years, but their quarterback just repeatedly gets injured. It's like, how does that happen?
That makes sense.
But I mean, I never like to see people get hurt, but I could not feel any bit of sympathy for Cowboys fans. So,
Yeah, no.
And Dak Prescott, to be fair, he's looked great, but that's also sheltered in the fact that he is not, every single passing play he's rolled out. Like,
Well,
every
and he's
single-
And that's
Like
also
against
against
the
the
first
2s and 3s.
Yeah. I mean,
Dak Prescott was a great college quarterback. Nowadays, ever since Michael Vick, the running quarterback hasn't worked in the NFL. They figured it out. They've gotten bigger, faster, stronger. So I'm interested to see how Dak does this year, assuming.
No idea what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, is he going to be a good pick for me to take in my dynasty draft? I don't know. We're gonna have to look at that. We're gonna have to look at
There's
that.
Fantasy
absolutely no
newsletter
one.
as well.
Hey, but
Back to
yeah.
your point, you said the running quarterback doesn't work in the NFL.
I know.
Who won MVP last year?
Well, okay.
A running quarterback. So
most of the
Ice
time,
cold take right there.
Robert Griffin.
I think Dak can work. I
Timothy
think he's
Brown
got the
can
size. Here's why RG3 didn't work. The size.
Yeah,
The
no,
size
that's
difference
what
between
Cam Newton has.
Cam is
He
built like a
also can't run
linebacker.
a
Dak,
school offense.
this is
Yeah,
true.
he also has zero downfield accuracy anymore.
I mean, for the time being, it'll work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a band-aid at this point. I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback, but we'll see. It's certainly not telling
If they
more.
find out he is, I guess.
Great, more Cowboys fans, right?
From the NFL to the NHL, we're going to talk a little Las Vegas. We don't know what they are. Now, that's what they're deciding on. They're deciding on 3 names.
The desert,
all the Knights.
the desert
So
Knights,
dumb.
the Golden Knights, and then what was it? It was like Red Knight. It's like I
Scarlet
just want to
Knights?
know
Too
like
much.
what is the debate? Like I just picture like a large group of people like heavily debating. You have like the Gold Knights fans over here, and then the like desert like depicting like slide shows of just, why desert is like better than golden, but like I could not care less, honestly. Like first of all, we can talk about the names, or we can talk about like should they like 31 teams, adding another team, watering down the league.
Makes no sense.
Absolutely not, in my opinion. But the names, like, if they're gonna do some sort of Knights thing, like, they should play it off of how it's a 2-sided meaning that it's like the nightlife, and then it's also like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
playing
they
off
should-
Las Vegas atmosphere. I mean, that's.
Yeah,
I was
the
reading
logo
the Desert
had better
Knights
be
apparently
They don't
are
play
a
philosophy.
favorite.
Desert Night. Like what Desert Night are we
Also,
talking
what's
about?
the logo gonna look like for that? Like,
So like
what
what?
if guy out of Star Wars?
I'm
Like
like just
sand
walking.
people,
In the desert. When is that? That's not
This
even.
guy's got like doors. Like, what were those?
Stanley Cup Final Game 6 from Tatooine.
It's gonna look like a Tuscan Raiders with the mascot.
With Johnny Manziel on a swan as like their third alternative logo.
I just imagine a Tuscan Raiders standing behind the away team's goal, and just freaking cheering there.
They have some of the cute mascots. That little thing, that thing's gonna run around and scar children. It's just like wants to. He's wanting to give away Desert Knights gear. He just throws like T-shirts at kids and just goes.
Shoots it out.
Or the little skit, like it's like some like Obi-Wan in a robe coming out of mid-ice, and then Tusken Raider just like brutally stabs it.
Taking him out.
Las Vegas Harambe's got a write-in, apparently, per my source in the NHL.
Are you your source?
I am my own source.
I am my own.
Journalism.
We don't reveal our sources.
I mean, the Knights thing, I don't know, like, after the first Knights name, it's like, okay, Knights is kind of cool. It's kind of used like the creative team from Madden, but I can run with it. Then the second Knights name, it's like, okay, they just threw an adjective in there.
Yeah, they're just changing the meaning.
Okay, they threw another adjective there. After the second night, you would have thought, like, what about Wildcats? What about something that's not stupid? Like, the Knights haven't been relevant since the Crusades. How hard is it? Hot take. How hard is it? Like Las Vegas Desert Knights, it sounds like an army like division instead of a hockey team.
Well, I'm glad they didn't go super corny and do something like, the Las Vegas
Gamblers.
Blackjacks with like an X.
The Las Vegas Gamblers.
Yeah, just like so corny. I mean,
it won't matter. That team's gonna win like 20 games a year, probably for
well,
the next
it
decade.
depends on how they do the whole
Expansion draft. Penguins choose to give up Crosby. Crosby becomes hooked on gambling. Desert Knights win division.
If you had to be in that room picking the
Be a lot
names,
more random.
what would the name that you would select be?
Humongous Melonheads.
Going backyard,
Mighty
baseball?
Wombats.
I guess Golden Knights has a cooler ring to it than like I don't know.
I feel like you
It
can do the
sounds
most
like
with
college
that in
team.
terms of
Golden
like,
Knights sounds like
It
a
is Central Florida.
Okay, there you go. It sounds like I don't.
I guess, but
I mean, it can be cool. Like I like the playing off the nightlife idea. Like not something ridiculous like Las Vegas gambling problems or Las Vegas 1-800 bets off or 1-800 cocaine. I don't know. Either way, the Las Vegas drug dealers or I don't know.
I'm trying to think of some of like the other names in the NHL that are
Las Vegas Whalers.
Comparable.
The Whalers, there you go.
Whalers is Vegas.
comparable to Knights.
Las
Yeah,
Vegas
you got like the
Thrashers.
Toronto Maple Leafs. You got like
Bring back the Thrashers.
the Blues, the Blackhawks. I mean, those are all relatively good. And the Stars. I mean, they're not. Some of those aren't super creative, but
No. I mean,
I'm trying to think like what a good one would
I feel
be.
like I thought the Thunder was a stupid name too, and then within 2 years I'm like, oh, it's a team.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like it's
once
just
you
one of
get
those things
used
where it's
to
like
it.
it's not even a team yet, so you think it sounds stupid, but then once they're like, you see them actually play, it's like, okay.
Is you know what sucks? They just Las Vegas Raiders just got taken off the market.
Winnipeg Jets. I mean,
well, that already been a team, so that was
Yeah.
like palatable because in fact that like this existed not that long ago. You know what I mean? But
it'll be interesting to see where they go with the team and what name they eventually do decide on. So now we're gonna move on to is that a yank? We got this week's yank. Corn, you want to do it?
Sure. So we're talking about Joey Bosa. I have a feeling Tyler might disagree with me. So just absolutely ridiculous holdout still going on.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
So
Tyler's itching over here.
here is essentially what it boils down to now is that the Chargers have offered to pay him 85% of his lump sum signing bonus at signing, 15% in March. And that is essentially what this argument has come down to now. He wants all of it at one time, and they want to give him 85% now and 15% in March. To me, he hasn't played it down in the NFL. You don't know what you're going to get with him. He's getting big money anyway. And 85%, like, is he going to spend that 85% before March? Like, is he going to run out of money? Like, I just don't understand.
Michael, yes.
Okay, part of the reason he's asking for so much money is insurance. Because one, you do like the average. We hear this all the time. The average lifespan in the NFL is like less than 3 years. Say Bosa blows out both of his knees. He signs this deal. He blows out both of his knees week 2. If he has all that money, Tyler talked about it before the show. He's gonna get less money in the current deal because of inflation. He wants that money as insurance, and I don't blame him. The Chargers have done this time and time again because the Chargers organization is the shadiest bunch of people. Dean Spanos is a cheapskate. LT, Eli, Rivers, Breeze, you name it, they've screwed him over.
And what's ridiculous is this is like there's no precedent for this. Like all the guys at the top of the draft, you get your bonus. And there's no precedent to this. And the Chargers, the precedent is that the Chargers don't treat their draft picks right. Like the Chargers, you finally have. I'm not a big Joey Bosa fan, but there's a lot of people that are in terms of his talent and stuff. So you finally have a guy that you add to the team, other than maybe Melvin Ingram, on the defensive side of the ball that has anything close to a slight level of talent and you're just going to play hardball. Like, play hardball back with the Chargers. Your roster is garbage. Like, it's literal trash. If you don't want me on your football field, even though you draft me, fifth overall, third overall, like, okay, go. Let's see those star defensive linemen you're going to pull out of.
Honestly, both sides are like pretty stupid right now. Just like where it has gotten, it's just like find something you can agree on and just like play football.
When it's in the NCAA and these guys aren't getting paid and they're pretty much the NCAA and the teams are making so much money off of these players.
This is your weekly rip of the NCAA.
It's a little understandable when they get to the NFL and they're like, yeah, I want my money now. I made it through 4 years of surviving injuries or being injured and then coming back, tearing ACLs, what have you, to want to get their money. But at the same time, you know, they are athletes. They are getting a lot of money. I see what you're saying about the insurance stuff like that. I think Joey Bosa has more leverage with a team like the Chargers versus if he was playing, say, for the Patriots or the Steelers or one of those more successful teams. Because otherwise, they'd be like, yeah, see you, okay, we'll go on to the next set. Like, we don't need you. But yeah, I mean, so I think he has more leverage there with the Chargers just because their team is so bad.
There's just zero talent on the entire roster other than Phillip Rivers and Mike Keenan Allen. Like, there's just zero talent. So you finally get someone who you think has a lot of talent. And why are you drafting at that point then? Just trade your pick if you don't want to pay him. Trade down. How is this like an issue? Like, if you do not want to pay this guy this type of money and this type of bonus, trade the pick down, acquire assets. I don't know, but like, it's ridiculous as on the part of the Chargers.
In the NFL's defense, just play devil's advocate too. Like, these guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars. You should be able to handle your money at getting 85% of that bonus. You should be able to manage that and live off that for quite some time. It shouldn't be that big of an issue. And the fact that this is an issue that they, yes, the NFL teams are being bad about it. These guys that have millions and billions of dollars aren't giving it to the guys that deserve it. But at the same time, these kids, you see time and time again, these NFL guys that are out of the league in 3 years, but should have enough money had they not gone and spent it at the nightclubs and on cars and houses and all the other things that these kids want to spend it on.
Those back in your day?
Yeah, they did. If they don't all spend all their money.
Carriages and saloons.
If they didn't spend all the money as soon as they got it, burning a hole in their pocket on what have you, they would be completely fine. $2 or $3 million can last you a while. You'd be surprised, and these guys should understand that and learn how to be financially successful rather than just partying.
Your daily financial advice.
There you go.
Invest in bonds. But to kind of put a bow on all this, kind of just asking all y'all, do you think this ends within the next 2 months? Or, okay, another question. Does Bosa end this whole thing, the Chargers end this whole thing by week 5?
Yeah,
I think he has to.
So.
What is it? Before week 10 he has to, or else they lose the rights to him? I think that's what I was reading.
It's something like that. I can't remember the exact.
Hello, Hamilton Tiger Cats defensive end Joey Bosa.
Depends on how badly does he want to play football and how badly does
I
he
feel like
value
he has
his
to. It's
future.
like, how little common sense does each side have to have for this to drag out past, even into the regular season?
I think the Chargers
a week and a half away.
They're going to get a lot of pressure from fans just because the team might have been moved and there is some expectation and some pressure to compete now. Yeah. So, I think they're going to have some pressure.
It also doesn't help that Joey Bosa's mom continues to pour gasoline around the fire and just Chargers are just trash.
She literally said, we wish we did what Eli did.
Yeah, and which...
Yeah, that's
no
deleted it.
What was the organization? This place is so dumb.
I mean, the families are going to want what's best for their players, but ultimately,
obviously, yeah.
So I guess I didn't clarify from Bosa's point of view. Are we saying this is a yank, that he should not be holding out, or that he's justified in holding out because
I'm saying
the Chargers?
he's justified. You're saying he's
I lean
justified.
toward he should just so I'll say it's a yank.
Okay.
You guys say it's not a yank.
I'll say it is, just from the pure aspect of money is money, and I understand people don't like the NFL and it's a money business, but I think he should just take his money and be quiet. So
there you go.
Two versus two.
Take the money and be quiet.
So we'll see what Joey Bosa does. We'll see what the Las Vegas Desert Golden Scarlet Knights decide. We'll see how Bryce Harper does in the future, and Tony Romo, if he ever recovers, or if he's just going to be
he can do a milk commercial for us.
Yeah, he can do a milk commercial for.
You know what's gonna suck is he's gonna come back and then Bane will come out of nowhere, just snap his back. That's gonna be a career.
Okay. Surprised it's not a meme yet.
And just being snapped by Bane as he gets tackled from behind and snaps.
All right, we'll talk more about that after the break. You're watching.
We have more on Bane after the break. Stay tuned, apparently.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to segment 2 of Shouting from the Couch, episode 2, segment 2. And today I was inspired by the gold medal U.S. team, the basketball team, and the steaming pile of trash that is Harrison Barnes, who has a gold medal now to his resume, in addition to, a ring with the Warriors. So that inspired me just to think of what are the worst players to be on championship teams, gold medal teams, not good teams, like they have to have won it all across any platform. Gold medal counts, World Cup, anything like that. Start with Corn.
Mine is Bill Murray from the Toon Squad.
Hey! Perhaps I could be of some assistance. You go to the hole and dominate. We own defense.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa! I don't play defense. Typical. All right, you're gonna have to listen to Mike on this, guys.
He was human garbage. Human garbage. He was a line of
plus minus. Did you see his plus minus during tournament play? This is ridiculous.
That is true.
His plus minus was higher than Lola, Taz, and Daffy combined. Check your facts.
I was between him and Tweety Bird, and I had to go with him. Okay. Mostly because he's a human being, and he should have been able to play against the Monstars, but.
I would go Squints from Sandlot.
Let's actually go his answers.
I'm not going Squints. Can I wish the Panthers in because I would have said Ted Ginn Jr. I'm splitting right now. Jawan Howard
with the Heat in 2012. He was where he
high contributor.
When he transitioned to assistant coach, basically never retiring. He just slowly went from wearing warm-ups, the entire LeBron. If you go watch LeBron's Heat games, just slowly put on the bench. He goes from Jawan Howard wearing warm-ups to him slowly get to wearing a suit and then becoming an assistant coach overnight somehow.
It's boring all of a sudden.
Sasha Count is another good one. The guy who played for Kansas 1 year in the NBA. He played 1 year. He came and got his ring and he said, I no longer want to play. Where's the ring, Ernie? You got more rings than Chuck, Ernie. Sasha Count got more rings than Chuck. Ernie, where's your ring? Did you play with the Bulls, Ernie?
I'm kind of split between a couple. I mean, you could say Adam Morrison, who somehow I didn't even know until I looked
Doomsday Prepper.
1-2 with the Lakers. Yeah, absolutely.
That mustache.
Yeah, great college player. You can also say Brian Scalabrine in 2008. He even said, and we can probably pull up the clip in post, but how in 15 years he's just going to tell his kids that he started because no one will even remember. And it's fair. No one really remembers the starting five in that team.
Guess what? Maybe now you could say, I didn't play a second, but in 5 years, you guys are going to forget. In 10 years, I'll still be a champ. In 20 years, I'll tell my kids I probably started. And in 30 years, I probably told them I got the MVP. So I'm really not too worried about it.
And then
you might.
Also, maybe not over a career, but just last year, Peyton Manning, he was there was a case that he was the worst quarterback in the league. He led the league in picks. And that was 3 weeks after he had already been sidelined with his plantar fasciitis or whatever that was. But he still led the league in picks, which is just he was terrible. His Von Miller literally just on his way to sacking Tom Brady carried Peyton Manning's lifeless carcass to the finish line. Come on.
He used it to force fumbles in the Super Bowl. He just drug it and just
yeah, he just kind of slap him over. Yeah.
For me, it's I'm a Heat fan.
Not anymore because Dwayne Wade's now gone. But James Jones with the Heat, the two championships that he rode on LeBron and Wade.
And then the third one that he had with Cleveland this past year, he basically comes in late game situations, only used in the fourth quarter to hit a game-tying three, to hit a go-ahead three. That's all he's ever used for. He never starts. He never gets much action throughout the game at all. But he's there at the end of the bench as that 11th, 12th, 13th guy.
This is an obscene amount of disrespect to a 3-time NBA champion.
3-time NBA champion, but what has he done?
He's got almost
next to nothing.
He's got almost 25% the amount of rings that Bill Russell has, sir.
Next to nothing.
I mean, I know that like he was good in his prime, I guess, but Derek Fisher has 5.
Yeah.
And like he was a role player at best on every one of those teams, and at worst he was like.
Are you saying he rode Kobe's coattails? No.
James Jones has as many rings as LeBron and Wade both have.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like, that's insane. So
That's ridiculous.
that's it.
Harrison Barnes could be on that list.
Yeah.
I think he will have a
He's
better year
garbage.
this year.
Just terrible.
Yeah, he's on that free.
Yeah, his max contract with the Mavs,
Yeah, oh my-
like, good
just
luck.
throwing
As if the Mavs have
that
never made
just
4 free
screams-
agent decisions.
That
ever.
just screams like 14 points, 3 rebounds a game, like gets benched like many times. Like that just
offered to
screams.
sit down to the D League.
You can let us know your worst players on championships teams.
Team
by-
Sky Camps doesn't count.
I was about to say.
Team Sky Camps, Mitch Summers now. You can tweet us.
Please comment below,
at-
Mitchell. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, okay, then. Must be nice.
Tweet at SFTC_podcast or follow us on Facebook. You can check us out there as well.
We're on
And let us
SoundCloud.
know your worst players on championship teams. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Heat Check, a new segment with cold and hot takes from this past week.
Welcome back to Shouting from the Couch. We have a new segment this week called Heat Check. We basically, peruse Twitter and find people who make either really cold or really hot takes. So probably see a lot of Skip Bayless tweets, maybe. Mostly
Everything is
cold.
ice cold.
So mostly
Ice
cold.
cold.
But maybe some people that from
We
around
know.
in Missouri and all that jazz, and we know will give us some gems. So
We have some Utah Jazz hot takes.
I hope not. I hope not. I don't think that's a thing. But Tyler, if you want to get us started, we got 3 today from this past week.
Let me rattle what rallies off. We have, you mentioned Skip Bayless.
Of course.
Tweeted, when was this? This was a couple days ago. After watching Eli and Co., so I'm assuming that means Eli Manning.
Is that a clothing company?
Yeah, I believe so. It's
That clothing?
failed to score against the Jets. I
Or they
give
sell comebacks in
Dak's
Super Bowl.
Cowboys a good shot of beating the Giants on opening day at Jerry World. I mean, the same people that are putting stock in preseason are the ones putting stock in Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? Like the stock that Eli Manning, they didn't score against the Jets. Like
It's
preseason. I'll give it like a warm take just because.
On a scale of 1 is box of ice box.
Ice.
10 is
Hottest.
fireplace. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like right in the middle of 5. Like,
About 5 or 6.
like the Cowboys very
So it's like
Warm-
it's
warm bath-
it's
it's
like
warm-
warm beer. It's like
warm bath water.
Okay, sure. Okay. The Cowboys very well could beat the Giants week 1. The Giants do not have a very good roster. Like, they spent so much money on their defense, Janoris Jenkins and all those.
Olivier
They don't. Olivier Vernon. They
Yeah,
don't
his
have a lot.
argument
But
is
that's what
cold.
I'm saying. His reasoning is just like
He's also
because
Skip
they didn't
Bayless
score. Yeah.
trying to get
Yeah,
just,
well, of course.
we'll say anything just to get the viewership.
And hey, we're talking about it right now.
yeah.
So
Good job, Skip Bayless. Applaud you for the effort. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I think when you look at the preseason stats, that's not going to mean anything.
Really, the first couple weeks, while the games are important, you're not going to truly understand what the team's like until week 4 or 5. So
it's true. Give us our second one.
Our second hot take comes from
Missouri's own.
Missouri's own, I believe I know
New
this
York's
fellow,
own, actually.
Anthony Romano, at A Romano MU if you want to go chastise him and stalk him. He's quote tweeting a Jason Lockenfora tweet. The Cowboys discovered a fractured vertebrae in Tony Romo's back, expected to miss 6 to 10 weeks. Wow. And then the quote tweet, week 1 is now a must-win for the Giants.
Ding, ding.
Well, in the NFL, aren't most games must-win? Because if you don't win the games, you don't make the playoffs. So basically, every week seems like a must-win.
But for me, you cannot call week 1 must win.
Oh man, we're 0-0. We're in a dire situation.
Yeah,
we gotta win,
that's
otherwise we're going
ridiculous.
home.
If they're playing some terrible, if they're playing the Joey Bosa-less Chargers, maybe you call that a must win because you see that on your schedule and you're like, that needs to be a win for us to get to 10, 11 wins. But
I think instead of must win, he said they should win the game.
yeah,
should
no,
win.
but sure.
He's saying must.
He's saying
what
he
he's
must
saying is
win.
must win, otherwise season's over. Which
Which is the suggestion you
one
make
doesn't
when you call it
really
must win.
matter because like 7-9, 6-10 will win that division, and then they'll get absolutely smoked by whatever wild card team makes it out of the NFC West or NFC North.
I do see part of his argument to where it's like he sees how the scale for it is bigger. It's a divisional game. It's your rival, and they play each other. I'd say every time they open the season with each other, it's really close, back and forth and last minute score. I still don't think it's must win. If the Giants lose this game, it's not obviously season over. Trade Eli for Kellen Moore and let's have Brian for Joey Bosa.
Yeah, he goes full circle.
It all comes full circle.
What's the next
Oh,
one?
the third one. Okay, the third one comes. This
Friend
one.
of the program.
Friend of the program.
FIB member.
Joey Schneider
Elite officer.
tweets out, "Where are the people that now want Wainwright to start the wild card game?
That doesn't sound like it.
If the Cardinals make it?" He says, "I don't even
Glad
know."
he added that.
He says, "I don't even know if his role in the postseason rotation or roster is even safe at this point. Call me crazy, but I don't want this in October." Well, Joey, you got some hot takes. Your Gotti one probably was the worst hot take I've ever seen.
That was like a 15 on the 1 to 10 scale.
But Adam Wainwright.
Problem number one for me with that is, you might not even be playing in October. I mean, technically,
Exactly.
the end of the
Technically, they will
regular
now, but
season is in the beginning of October. But
they have what? How many weeks we got left in the season? About 4,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I do
5-ish.
think they're going to win the second wild card, but I don't think you shouldn't be thinking about your playoff roster right now. Get there.
If you're in this situation and you're the St. Louis Cardinals and you hypothetically you're in that wild card game, there is nobody besides Wainwright you're throwing in that game purely because he was the guy in 2006 that came out of the bullpen.
No matter who you're pitching out there, good luck against Bumgarner or Kershaw.
Yeah.
Have fun
Yeah,
on the road.
On
The
the road.
Cardinals
They do
have
hit
had
Kershaw.
success
They do hit Kershaw.
against Kershaw.
But
But
he's had 2 months of rest.
if you're going to say you're going to throw Martinez, Waka, Leak,
Honestly, I would.
Lance Lynn if he could come back.
Now, I disagree with the postseason roster comment, but I don't think he would be. Say they get past the wild card game. Technically, they throw the race in that game anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a number one starter in a playoff series anymore. I think he's 2 at best, probably 3.
I would agree.
I think
agree.
Carlos
But to
Martinez
the
is
Cardinals
probably
right now, he's the number one.
Alex Reyes, maybe. I mean, if he stays in the rotation, you don't think?
There's no way they would throw anybody but Wainwright out there purely because Reyes.
Well, not for game 1. Not for a wild card.
Yeah, but
Game
okay. But
rotation.
if you're in a series, I don't throw Reyes. I don't throw Martinez there as their first starter.
We're forgetting another piece of this tweet. Chris, you had it up in a sec, but he said rotation or roster. That's the hottest, just ridiculous, most just
You
fire.
can throw him in the bullpen.
Ice cold, like flaming hot and just jumps into the bath of ice water.
Still steaming.
Roster. So that's just, okay. Let's assume they have 3 starters that they'd rather have over Wainwright. So he's saying not even on the roster, wouldn't even throw him in a bullpen, a midterm reliever, not even that, just straight down to AAA, just
injury. He was on their playoff.
put him on the
roster
DL with some shoulder soreness, rest of the year done. That's
if the Cardinals waived Wainwright, we just have they'd be like, oh my God, Jose knows what he's doing. That's incredible.
How about that? No, there's absolutely. Wainwright has won it for this team in the past year after year. He's been their go-to guy, and he will continue to be. He's not pitching well right now. He's pitching probably the worst he has in his career right now. But no matter how bad Wainwright is pitching, I'm still throwing him in postseason because in postseason he gets fired up and he plays on another level. Injured, uninjured, I don't care. I do not agree with that at all. That is a classic B-fib comment. Not when the Cardinals lose, it goes to hell. That's the what I hate about Cardinal fans.
If it was
being one,
if it was rotation, I say it's a 4 on the cold scale, but roster, come on, that's a hard one.
that's the reason people don't like Cardinal fans, and that's the reason that we have to put up with so much flack is because of comments like this. Joey, come on, man. Really? Seriously.
Come on, man. It's actually trademark.
No, I didn't say that.
We tried doing it last week.
I didn't say that context. That's going to do it for us this week on Shouting from the Couch. Like I said earlier, if you'd like to follow us, we are on Facebook as well as Twitter at SFTC_. podcast. So tweet us your thoughts or Facebook message us your thoughts.
We're not the Street for the Cash podcast. Please don't get it confused.
Yes. If you like us, if you don't like us,
We will
let us
street
know.
for cash.
Give us your thoughts and comments. If you like to advertise with us, you can direct message us. We always have some advertising possibilities.
Looking at you, Deuces.
But next week, we'll preview it real quick. We'll be talking to fans from every one of the NFL teams on why they like their team. Even the Los Angeles Rams, we found a fan out there. It is not me to talk about the LA Rams. So we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Not